Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about the secret to getting the fastest weight loss results. The fastest, right? That's what everyone's after, but we need to define what fastest is. I know most people think the fastest weight loss is how many pounds you lose today, tomorrow, this week, this month, right? That's the fastest weight loss, okay? But we need to question that because what if we've been measuring fastest weight loss wrong the entire time? What if that's a core reason why people are struggling to get the fastest weight loss or any weight loss ultimately long term? So, what is the fastest weight loss? If you lose 20 pounds in a month doing something extreme that you can't keep up, and the following month you put 20 pounds back on, was that fast weight loss or was that no weight loss? Well, it depends when you look at it, right? If you look at the end of the first month, it feels like fast weight loss. If you look at the end of 2 months, it feels like no weight loss. So, fastest weight loss is a relative term depending on how you look at it and when you look at it. You've got to get this, okay? This is so important because we've just been led to believe our entire lives by the diet industry that fastest weight loss is how much you lose this week, today, tomorrow, this week, next week, this month. We got to zoom out a little bit though and look at the big picture. We can't just look at right now in the moment. That's what's screwing so many dieters up. So if we zoom out and look at the big picture, the question becomes, what is the fastest weight loss? Which one's faster? The person who loses 20 pounds in a month and then puts it back on the second month because they can't keep it up, or the person who loses 2 pounds a month in a way that's really easy and sustainable? And now you say, okay, in the first month, well, the fastest weight loss is the 20 pounds a month. The 2 pounds is really slow. Second month, now we realize the fast weight loss isn't any weight loss, and the slow weight loss is 4 pounds. But it's easy and simple to maintain. So 10 months from now that's become 20 pounds. 2 years from now, that's become 40, 50 pounds. So which one's faster? Which one's slower? Well, the answer becomes obvious when you look at it this way, but we rarely look at weight loss this way because we're so caught in the moment. We zoom right in and just say, how much weight did I lose today, this week? But if we zoom out and look at the big picture, what you start to realize very quickly is that oftentimes the fastest weight loss is actually created slowly. And in music, a lot of times playing an instrument, you'll hear the phrase that you need to go slow to go fast. That if you're learning something new with guitar, the faster you try to rush it, the longer it's going to take you to learn it because you're in such a rush that you're not practicing properly. You're not giving yourself the space you need to actually learn it. And because you're rushing, you're actually slowing the whole process down. And if you took it slow from the beginning, then you'll learn it much quicker. So this idea of going slow to go fast is really relevant to weight loss as well. And the way that you want to look at this is that you need to take into account the other side of weight loss, not just what's happening on the scale, not just the weight you're losing. The other side of it is, how do you feel about all of it? And I feel like this is what diets have trained you not to pay attention to. It's gotten you to the idea that you'll say, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I don't care how extreme it is. Oh, 2-day fast? Fine. Not eating ever a carb again? Fine. 800 calories a day? Fine. And the only way that we can actually go into a plan like that is when we only focus on the weight loss and completely and totally ignore what it feels like to actually do it. But once you start paying attention to how it feels to do the plan that you want to do, now something magical happens. You start to realize, I need to do something that's sustainable, that's relatively comfortable, that I can keep up. And while a lot of times when you take that into account, your results may slow down a little bit because you're not doing such extreme, unsustainable stuff. But what happens over a period of time, as the weeks start to accumulate, as the months start to accumulate, is that your results start to accumulate. Something that most dieters never experience, because most dieters, if they don't lose weight quickly, they can't keep themselves on track because the fast weight loss is the only thing that's keeping them going. And so the alternate way of looking at it is to start to approach your weight loss with this slow is fast mentality, that if I figure out how to sustainably, comfortably, easily change my behaviors in a way that I lose weight, I'm going to be able to keep it up. And that's where the real results that I'm looking for are at. It's in the sustainability, it's in the accumulation. And when you start to realize that all big results, all big weight loss goals are achieved a pound at a time, all big successes are the accumulation of small successes. And when you start to really internalize this, you approach this completely different, where you're not trying to do it all at once. You're not trying to rush the process. You're respecting the process and you're setting yourself up for long-term success. And it changes everything. And not only does it change everything so that you get better results, but you get better results in a much easier and more comfortable way as well. And so both things are fundamental and crucial. So give this some thought, because this is a fundamental issue for a lot of dieters, that they're really just chasing fast results without paying attention to how it feels to live that way. And once you take that into account, I think you'll find yourself coming up with better strategies that serve you better. All right. So if you want to go deeper into this whole concept and idea and want some support with this, make sure you click the link in my bio and go get the free hypnosis session I made for you. It's called The New Thin Me. It is there for the taking, completely free. I also made a training for you. Go check that out as well. And if you have any questions about weight loss at all, feel free to ask them. I'm here to answer them as best I can and help you out, because if you're struggling with weight loss, there's a good chance you may not need to. And that the problem is that you just have not figured out how to look at it in the proper way. Is that possible? Yes. What's up, Vicky? Vicky says applicable in all realms of life too. Yes, agreed. Yes. Slow is fast. I would say slow is fast is pretty much the truth. And in my life, I've really worked on that. I'm a very impatient person by nature. And so I have absolutely had to make it a focus of mine to really value going slower, to value the long term, over the short term. And I think most humans are kind of wired this way anyways. But it's been transformative for me. And it's really opened up so many more doors of what I can do, because I now find myself not overwhelming myself when I try to take something on. I approach it right from the beginning. I mean, program yourself things like this, like I always say, in Program Yourself Thin here, we follow the goal weight pyramid, right? And in the mindset part, which is the most important part, we deal with maintenance right from the beginning. So in Program Yourself Thin, the whole program's designed with maintenance right at the core of it. So I'm way less concerned with how much weight you'll lose this week, this month, and way more interested to focus on how much you will lose over the next year, 2 years, what weight you'll live at for the rest of your life. Those are the questions I'm asking. That's my focus. And I think when you focus on things this way, you just naturally set yourself up for better results, And again, most things in life, you kind of do this automatically anyways. What's up, Joan? Joan says truth. Yes, truth. What's up, Joe? Joe says, you inspired so many people. It's always the small things. Thanks for reminding us. Yeah, you're welcome, Joe. It is always the small things, and I get it. Listen, it's exciting to think about being at the goal or having the big accomplishments, right? It feels good. It gets our dopamine going. It's exciting. But we have to realize that process. We have to realize, okay, my brain gets excited about it, but the reality is I can't just make it happen. One of my favorite examples of this, like where you've been conditioned to think longer term, is college. College is a whole big undertaking. And, it's going to take you 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 years to get to that goal you want to achieve in college, whatever your goal may be. But let's just take a typical bachelor degree. You go into it the first year knowing you're going to be doing this for 4 years. You get a 4-year time frame in your mind. And so think about how that changes everything, right? Because as soon as you have a 4-year time frame in your mind, you're trying to rush through it. You know what I mean? You're trying to get all of it learned as quick as you can. Think about the difference between, think about the difference. When you go to college, imagine they just dropped all the books on your desk that you're going to go through over 4 years. It's okay, do it. Right? And you say, okay, I'm going to learn as quick as I can. And you start reading and reading and reading. Right? It's like you're going to burn yourself out. You've got to time things. You've got to space things out a bit. And I think, dieting's got you frothing at the mouth that you just want to get it done. but it's you approach your dieting every time the same way, right? Where you're just like, okay, now go, right? It's the starting line, go. It's how long you can do it for. And it's just a totally wrong energy, totally wrong concept of it. You want to start approaching your weight loss like you would college, where you're giving yourself 2, 4, 6 years to accomplish what you want to achieve. And I know for a fact when I say that, you start feeling like discouraged and depressed. Oh, 2 years, 4 years. Oh, but again, listen, I would say rush away if it worked. But if you've been trying to rush for 20 years to lose weight and here you are 20 years later, still overweight, I mean, at what point do you figure out that doesn't work? At what point do you course correct here? And this is in my opinion, the most important course correction you can make is how you conceptualize this whole process. Because dieting has got you into a raving lunatic where, you know what dieters are like? It almost reminds me of like, like bulls. I don't know exactly what they do, but like bull riding, they get these bulls all crazy, right? And they're in the pen, they're in their small little pen, and the cow person gets on them and they start messing with the bull, get them all upset, right? And the bull's in this little, and it gets to the point where it's just raging, right? And then they open the gate and that's kind of like what you dieters are like. You know what I mean? Like you get into this space where you get so upset. You're so upset about your weight. You're so upset about the clothes not fitting, how you looked in that picture. You're so upset. And then it's like that there is like, okay, what diet are you going to do? And you go into that diet like a raging bull. But if you ever watch a bull, they buck and do all that shit for a minute or two, a few minutes. And that's what happens with you as a dieter. You go into it with so much energy and you waste all that energy so fast. You get nothing left. And for most people, statistically, most people can't get past a week on a diet. The vast majority of people that start a diet can't get past a month. Is this not your particular challenge too? Do you not find that you've struggled with this as well? And then you say to yourself, well, why can't I stick with something? What's wrong with me? How come I can't stick to a plan? Well, let's back up a second. Maybe because the plan's really overwhelming to you. Maybe it's really difficult to follow it because it's really hard. You're going from not giving a shit about your eating to all of a sudden you're tracking every single calorie you put in your mouth. You're not paying attention to food at all to all of a sudden never eating a carb again. Like these are drastic changes. And they're not set up for long-term success. Just says in England, you have a lot of support. I actually do work with a lot of people in England. It is very interesting. I'll tell you, it's very fascinating to me. The main countries I work with, obviously America, US, United States is number one. And then it's kind of split between Canada, UK, England, and Australia. Those are the big kind of 4 countries I probably work with most. And it's fascinating seeing the same issues pop up in all 4 countries, and I've worked with other countries as well. And it's fascinating finding the same issues there too, but especially those 4 countries. So that's good to hear. Yeah. Is it easier to diet in different countries because of the food they eat? Yeah, I definitely think that food impacts your ability to lose weight, change your behaviors, all the rest of it. So I do think it's a factor. I don't think it's the primary factor, but I certainly know that, just it's kind of, I think most people know this, that in a lot of countries, like they won't have the same colorings that America has, like they'll have the same product, like Fruit Loops is an example. So Fruit Loops in America are really vibrant and bright, right? Color wise. And in other countries, it's a lot more muted because they don't use the food dyes and all the rest of it. And that's across the board with the food. Typically American food is shittier quality than other countries' processed food because America doesn't have those protections and doesn't seem to value it. So yeah, certainly, every little bit helps. And so if you're consuming less food dyes, less, preservatives, chemicals, stuff like that, it's going to make it a little bit harder. So yeah, I would agree. I would say that does factor in. I don't think it's the main thing. You know what I mean? I think ultimately, you get the mindset right and other things, but yes, having a healthier food supply definitely is always an advantage. But yeah, but if you got any questions, feel free to ask them. What's up, D? D said you said you took 6 months to change your nighttime eating. How did you do it? Yeah, okay. So when I worked on my nighttime eating, so okay, so I'll just show you in the program here we have the goal weight pyramid, right? So this is what we kind of go through to do this. And so with the eating piece, right? So let's just look at the eating. Is that we start with awareness, right? Then structure, then optimization. So instead of just saying like, oh, I'm a nighttime eater, I'm just going to stop, right? That's what most dieters are going to do. They're going to say, okay, I want to lose weight. So I'm going to stop all the bad eating, especially at night. So if I was a dieter, I would have gone into my weight loss trying to change everything. And one of those things would have been, I'm going to stop eating at night too. Right. I'm not going to overeat at dinner. I'm not going to snack in the afternoon. I'm not going to get cookies after lunch. I'm not going to get a muffin after breakfast. I'm not going to eat sugar for breakfast. I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to exercise more, and I'm going to stop eating at dinner. That's what I'm going to do from now on. Me hopes that you realize how ridiculous that sounds, right? That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. To take on. Is it not? See, this is what dieting has done. The problem with dieting primarily is that it's a mindset that's broken. It's a broken mindset. And there's a lot of ways it's broken, but one of the core ways dieting's broken is this fairy tale, ridiculous idea that you were going to wake up one Monday and just completely change all of your eating from that point forward. It's asinine. It makes zero sense when you really think about it. And it explains the results you've gotten. It's not because you're weak-willed or have no willpower or self-control. It's because it's a horseshit strategy, a complete and total horseshit strategy that the way you're going to change is just completely change everything all at once. Okay, enough said. So that being said, I focused on my nighttime snacking, which usually started somewhere between an hour and 2 hours after dinner, and would go all the way until basically I went to bed at night. I'd be pretty much right up until bed. And so when you say, how do I change it over 6 months? What's that mean? Well, I start paying attention to it. Okay, well, what does that mean? Because I know most of you are saying, well, what do you mean? Pay attention. What? You eat at night? Just stop eating at night. And this to me reveals a big problem that a lot of dieters are just explaining their situation in the most simplistic of terms. Like, oh, I'm snacking at night. I guess I'll just stop. Right? It's like, dieters, cut the shit. Do you really think that the secret to your success is just to be told what to do and then you're just going to do it? Oh, here's a meal plan. Just follow it and you're all set. Like, I know it sounds easy, but is it that easy? Has that been your experience? That when you've started whatever weight loss plan that you followed, doesn't matter which one, by the way, literally doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's South Beach, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, intermittent fasting, keto, Atkins, carnivore, vegan, Mediterranean, literally any diet that you've ever heard of ever. How do you start it? 100% jumping right in, all or nothing. And it's crazy. It just makes no sense. Please argue with me. Please explain to me how you just completely changing your eating in one day just works. Well, it doesn't. Okay. And so what I did is I focused on my nighttime eating and I started paying attention to it. So first phase was awareness. What's going on here? Because guess what? Well, how do I think about it? Oh, I like to eat at night because I like to eat food. Oh, okay. Is that's it? No. There's different reasons why I eat at night, different emotions I'm eating for, different routines. And so I started to pay attention to them, stalking them. What's going on here? What's this behavior? What do I eat here? How much of it do I eat? When do I start eating? What else do I do? Okay. Paying attention to it. Then I start structuring things. I say, okay, I don't want to eat this way at night. I want to dial down the eating at night. So one of the first things I started doing, just as an example, right? Structure and awareness. I started eating more at dinner because the first thing I wanted to do, my first goal initially, let me just get through a night without eating at night just to see what it's like. I didn't even know. It'd been so long since I'd done it. I didn't remember what that felt like. It felt super weird, by the way. So I set myself up for success for that goal. My first goal was to get through the night without eating. So let me eat more at dinner and just get through the night. I do that a couple of times. Like, holy shit. I wake up the next day. I'm like, wow, I'm still here. I know you think I'm joking. Go change your worst eating habit and watch how anxious you get. Watch the crazy irrational shit you think and say to yourself as that moment approaches. And so I paid attention to what I thought, what I said to myself, what it felt like to not eat at night. So you say, well, at first I didn't lose weight, right? Because I was eating more at dinner and then I didn't eat at night. But what I was doing, I was training myself to get used to not eating at night. And then quickly what I realized is, holy shit, I didn't eat it last night. I slept way better. Oh my God, I slept way better. I'm waking up way more refreshed. I feel better. That started dawning on me. So that started to change how I approached it. I'm not just trying to not eat now. I don't want to eat at night because I feel way better in the morning when I wake up. And I believe this is going to help me lose weight. Now try different strategies. I did the classics. I try, I'll eat carrots. I'll eat celery. I started drinking more water. That was really helpful. I started doing yoga at night. That was super helpful. So again, I'm not going to go the whole thing because it was a process, but it's again, what most of you do is you say, okay, I'll eat at night. I'm going to stop eating at night. That's it. Gone. Let's see you later. I want to lose weight. So I'm going to stop eating at night. And so what you do is you white knuckle not eating at night. And so you're not eating at night, but you're absolutely stressing out. You're freaking out. You feel deprived. You're bored. You're getting emotionally all over the place. And a couple days go by and you say, fuck this. I can't even handle this. I'd rather be overweight than feeling like I feel. And then you start eating again. And that's what happens to most of you. You stop doing, you white knuckle yourself to make better choices for a little while. And because you haven't dealt with the core reasons why you're doing it in the first place, it never lasts. So yeah, it took me 6 months to get a handle on my nighttime snacking in a real legitimate way. But here I am 30 years later and I don't snack at night. Was it worth that investment of time? Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, whatever your worst habit is or whatever your highest calorie habit is, you got to stock it. You can't just expect just because you know it and you're just going to stop it. That's the silliest shit. And if you hear nothing else, I hope you hear that as a dieter, you're living in fucking Lululand. You're just nutty. It's not your fault. You're not a crazy person. You don't do this in any other area of your life. But when it comes to weight loss, you probably think like a dieter. And when you take a step back, thinking like a dieter is like thinking like an idiot. Don't take this the wrong way. I love dieters. I hate dieting. It's not your fault. You've been conditioned and brainwashed to think like a dieter your entire life. But thinking like a dieter is goofy times. Absolutely goofy. I don't know why I can't stick to a plan. Well, let me give you a fucking couple reasons why. Because you've completely and totally changed your way of eating in 24 hours. And you think you're just going to do that and stick with it. Do you not understand that most of your eating is run on autopilot? It would be like waking up tomorrow and say, you know what? From now on, I'm going to write with my other hand. What? I know how to write. I'm just going to write with my other hand from now on. No, you're not. By 10 o'clock, you're going to be frustrated. And you're going to go back to your other hand. It's not just the food. It's not just the taste of the food that's the problem here, folks. It's not your willpower. It's that you've got no subconscious programming for being a thin, healthy person. And so what you do to try and be thin and healthy, you just fight against yourself. And it doesn't work. In case you didn't notice. But it's not because you're broken. Coconut says, I have an all or nothing mindset. Yes, most dieters do have an all or nothing mindset. And an all or nothing mindset in most areas of life leads to failure, and weight loss is no different. So again, in Program Yourself Thin, we develop and cultivate an all or something mindset so that we're always in the game, sometimes more, sometimes less, but always in the game. Okay? Because you can't just be, you can't be all or nothing because, by the way, the truth is, coconuts, you don't have an all or nothing mindset. That's a mistake. None of you have an all or nothing mindset. You know what you really have? You want to be really honest and accurate about it? You got a nothing or all mindset, meaning most of the time you're not doing anything. Let's just be honest. Most of the time you might be thinking about losing weight 24 hours a day forever, all the time. I always want to lose weight. That's not losing weight, right? That's not being committed. Okay. We can think about shit all day long. That doesn't mean that we're committed in the game. All right. So most dieters have nothing or all mindsets. Let's say it right. Because most of the time they're doing nothing. And then occasionally they get all fired up and then they do all for a couple days or weeks. Then they go back to doing nothing. So most likely, coconut, you actually have a nothing or all mindset. And you can't have one if you want any good results. Okay. Sorry to tell you. Flamingo says, do you recommend fasting? What if you have functions or dinner planned? That's exactly why I don't recommend fasting. I think fasting for most people is not really going to work well for you for exactly for your reasons put in there. And I think fasting is silly this day and age for most people. Now, again, my golden rule of program yourself thin, there's no right or wrong. There's only what works for you. So if fasting works amazing for you and you love it and it's getting you great results, then you keep doing it. Don't listen to this. But if you're struggling with fasting, which most people do struggle with fasting, it's important to realize that fasting is just a strategy to reduce calorie consumption. And it's just one tactic amongst many. And so if it doesn't fit in your lifestyle, I would say, no, I don't recommend fasting. If you go to a lot of social events and fasting really doesn't fit in your lifestyle, I'd say, yeah, no, I do not. I do not recommend that. Does that make sense? So again, program yourself thin. I go back to this here because this is one piece of the program. You need to know what to do for you, right? And so to do that and program yourself thin, you go through the goal weight blueprint, right? 144 pages of you creating your own custom strategy of how to think, live, and eat like a thin, healthy person. How you can think, eat, and live like a thin, healthy person. Not how I'm going to. I'm not going to give you my plan and say, here you go, because you ain't me. So everyone's got to figure out what works for them. And I think that's another dieting problem is that dieting just tells you to do what I did. And it's so you give up your humanity when you diet. You know what I mean? As if you're not a human. And you think I'm joking, but I'm not, because think about it. Like dieters always say, oh, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I mean, really? Do you want me to tell you what music to listen to, what clothes to wear, what movies to watch too? Do you want me to just tell you everything about your life and how you should live it? That doesn't make any sense. And the idea that I'm going to tell you, I've never met you and I'm just going to tell you how you should eat for the rest of your life. I just find that to be silly to the extreme. So again, I use nighttime fasting. I fast every day pretty much for 12 to 13 hours. Gasp, not the 16 hours. No, you don't need to fucking fast for 16 hours. And again, that's what makes diets a failure is they're so rigid. There's no flexibility with you for you to make it fit your life, make it fit you. You're always metaphorically trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. You're trying to fit yourself into the diet. It should be the other way around. So that's what I think about fasting. Again, it depends on the context. Always the context. Victoria says, what's your biggest meal of the day? It depends, so I have clean and pleasure days. On my clean days, I would say my biggest meal is probably dinner still. Probably dinner, but it's close to lunch. Oh, no, it's not. Calorie-wise, it's definitely dinner. And then on my pleasure days on the weekend, I have 2 meals and my dinner is my biggest meal. Lois says, I like the idea that I'm not broken. For years and years, I believed I was broken. Lois, I understand that. And that's literally why I'm here every day. I'm here every Monday through Friday, and I do this for free. This is my mission in life, to share this information to help as many people as possible live at their goal weight. And the beginning of that process is to realize, no, you're not broken. You're not broken at all. That's why I do this. So many of my clients are overthinkers, perfectionists, overachievers, but have not been successful with their weight. And what they do is they, instead of saying, maybe the diet's not the right thing. Maybe there's an issue with the diet. These people always blame themselves. This is why I swear, it gets me right in the heart, right in the gut, that when good people are beating themselves up because they haven't been able to lose weight, but they blame themselves. They think they're broken. There's something wrong with them. No, it's the fucking diet, man. Listen, diets have a 95% failure rate long-term. When something's got a 95% failure rate and you fail with it, it's not you, it's the system. It's the strategy. Diets are conclusively ineffective long-term. Again, I'm not talking short-term. Most diets, if you follow them strictly, you'll lose some weight short-term. I'm not arguing that. What I'm saying is there's not a diet that's ever been invented that we know of that is successful long-term in any statistical, meaningful way. 100 years of dieting, there's not one diet that rises to the top as being statistically significant with long-term weight loss. So what, you know what I mean? Like, you've got to stop blaming yourself. You can blame yourself now. I mean, once you hear this, I suppose you can blame yourself if you keep trying to diet to lose weight, I suppose. But before you hear this information, it's not your fault. You've literally been in a diet trance. You've been trapped in a mental prison by the diet industry. You can only think about weight loss as dieting, injections, or surgery. You've been sold a bunch of bullshit. That's why I'm here every day, to help you realize it. It's not you. I mean, I've been doing this for over 20 years. I've done 6,000 private weight loss sessions, and I've just seen so many people that thought it was them lose weight. And so, you know what I mean? Like, you get to the point where you don't believe that anymore. You just realize it's just good people that never got a good information. I always put it metaphorically like this. Diets are like get rich quick schemes. Okay. But we have the ability to see get rich quick schemes because we see them within context, right? We see get rich quick schemes in the context of traditional ways of making money. In the traditional ways of making money is you go and develop a skill or offer something of value so that you're compensated for it. That's the traditional way most people earn their money. And so get rich quick schemes exist within that context, and you can see them within that context. They're bullshit. They prey on your impatience, and they don't work. And with dieting, it's the same thing. But with dieting, what you're missing there is you have no representation of what it's like to truly change your weight, because this is all relatively new shit. We've never had to deal with this to this level until the last 50 years because the food has changed so much so quickly. Never in the history of humans have we had to deal with this much tempting, triggering, addictive food that's constantly being put in our faces, so accessible. We've never had to deal with that. So it's a relatively new thing. And so we live in this situation where you have never once been given an alternative to dieting as a natural solution to losing weight. You have never once in your life, and I want you to realize this, because I know if you're watching this, I know you're a smart person. And I know that because the only people that listen to me are overthinkers. And so I know for a fact you're a smart, intelligent person. And I want you to realize this. I want you to think of all the books you've read, all the meetings you may have gone to, all the podcasts you've listened to, all the videos you've watched. I want you to think about all that. I want you to think about how long have you been working on your weight. I want you to think about that. And I know it's in the decades. We're talking 20, 30, 40 years probably. I want you to think about all the effort, energy, and time you've put into learning about weight. Okay? Now I want to ask you, in all of that time, have you ever learned about how to change your mindset? Have you ever learned how to think like a thin, healthy person? Ever? If you have thought about how to think like a thin, healthy person, have you thought about it in detail, of breaking it down into how to motivate yourself, how to shift your self-image and identity into that of a thin, healthy person, how to deal with your habits in a real strategic, practical way, how to handle your emotions, how to feel the emotions you genuinely want to feel, and how to deal with the shitty emotions you don't want to feel without food? Thinking, the nuts and bolts, what thoughts, what questions to ask, how to think about food, how to think like a thin, healthy person. Maintenance. Have you ever learned how to truly get yourself to maintain, how to ride out difficult times, how to get back on track when you make a mistake? Have you ever gone in depth and focused on those things at all? Lifestyle. I know you got to change your lifestyle. It can't just be a diet. Okay, great. What's that mean? What's your plan for changing your lifestyle? What would you even do to change your lifestyle? What's your definition of lifestyle? Ever in your weight loss travels, have you ever, in a very practical, strategic, systematic way, worked on improving your sleep, hydration, relaxation, breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, gratitude? Have you ever worked in a practical way to weave those things into your life so that they support your eating, which isn't just someone giving you a plan, but it's you figuring out what works best for me, what works best for my lifestyle, my preferences, how I want to live my life? What way of eating is the easiest and most enjoyable for me to live at my goal weight? Have you ever thought about any of those things in all the years, all the podcasts, all the books, all the videos, all the meetings? Have you ever thought of these three things in a strategic, practical way to change your weight? I already know the answer is no. But if the answer is no, then how you keep blaming yourself? You don't have the information to succeed. Being told what to eat is not a plan. That's the whole weight loss industry in a nutshell. It's people telling you what to do, whether it's eating or exercising. It's someone telling you what to do. But the core problem is not knowing what to do. It's in getting yourself to do it consistently. And you have never once been shown how to get yourself to do the things that you know you should. You've never learned how to deal with your mind. You've never learned how to create a lifestyle that supports you. And you've never learned how to deal with your eating in a way that really, truly resonates with you long term. This is why you're not getting the results you want, not because you don't have willpower or self-control. Coconut says, yes, you're right. And thinking about dieting gives me a dopamine hit and I don't even diet. Yeah, dieting, it absolutely gives you a dopamine hit. Folks, you've got more wiring in your brain for the anticipation of pleasure than for the experience of it. This is the curse of dopamine, because it takes more energy to take action to get the food than it does to eat the food once it's there. So the real drive, the oomph, the motivation is in the pre-phase, just thinking about it. So yeah, you can think about dieting and it sets off the dopamine. Oh, I can't, well, I'm going to, next Monday, where are we at? We're on Tuesday already, but I know a lot of you are already on to thinking about next Monday when you start. Well, it's the first Monday of October. So that's going to be perfect. Oh, but then the next weekend's a long weekend. So maybe I'll wait. Right. Tell me that's not your mindset, dieters. Oh, next Monday. Now I'm going to do it next Monday. I'm going to do it. Okay. Let me think. Okay. Oh, first Monday of the month. Perfect. Oh shit though. There's a vacation weekend. Oh God, I'm never going to be making, I'll just wait till after that. Oh, but then there's Halloween, but I'll start then. Oh shit. Now we're in the month of Thanksgiving. I got Thanksgiving in 4 weeks. So now it doesn't make sense. Oh, now I'm going to start. Oh, but now here are the holidays. You know what? I'm just going to wait till New Year's. Then comes New Year's. Oh my God. First week of New Year's. Oh, I've already screwed up for, let me start February. It just never ends. It just never ends. Just keeps going. Sister Tay says, yes, like feast or famine. If I make a mistake, get depressed and overeat more. Yes, exactly. We have to recognize that. I'll always say that the number one skill of weight mastery of living at your goal weight is the ability to get back on track quickly, because you're going to make mistakes. See, that's the craziest part to me. It's so nuts to me, this idea that you're going to start eating better tomorrow, but instead of thinking about practicing and getting better at eating better, you just think I'm just going to get better instantly. You know what I mean? Like, again, in Program Yourself Thin, we really build around the 1% better every day philosophy. Every day get 1% better. But you dieters, you don't got time for that. Dieters, oh, look at you dieters. So serious. Look at you. If you're going to do it, you're going to go all the way. Oh, you're going to get 100% better in one day. Wow. Look at dieters. Look at you. You're not screwing around, right? If you're going to do it, you're going to do it 100%. Wow. That's amazing. Here I am, a little 1% better a day. Oh, look at me, 1% better a day. I'm never going to improve. Look at them, 100% better in one day. I mean, I know it feels good in your brain to think that, like that. Oh, when I do things, I'm do it all the way. I'm an all or nothing person. You got to cut the shit. You sound like a clown 30 years into it and still overweight. That plan ain't working. I'm trying to be rude here. I'm trying to snap you out of your fucking diet trance. That all or nothing thing is bullshit. Let me put it in a different context just to reveal how stupid it is. It's like if I want to learn to play the piano. Well, I'm an all or nothing, so I'm going to play the piano. I'm going to play fast and good. I'm going to play 8 hours a day. Okay. Sit down my first 8 hours, muscle it through. Next day I wake up, I can't move my fingers, my shoulders, my whole back's killing me. I hate the piano. Is the problem me and I'm being a baby? Come on, just push through it. Or is the problem the 8 hours a day plan? See, your whole life, we've all been taught that 8 hours a day is the normal thing to do. It's not, and it doesn't work, but we're so invested in that mindset. We're so trapped by it that even when it doesn't work for you for years and years and years, it's never worked for you long-term. Even though it doesn't work for you, you still look at it and say, I'm the problem. I'll give you one more example that I like to use. It's like if you're in a marathon and you get the idea, you know what? I'm going to run this marathon. I got a new trick. I'm going to sprint the whole marathon. These dumbasses are pacing themselves. Pacing yourself? That's for losers. I'm going to sprint the marathon. I'm going to cook all you. And the gun goes off. And the first eighth of a mile, you're way out in front of everyone. You're like, look at this. I told you, you suckers, you losers. You should have sprinted. Now I'm ahead. Yeah, the next eighth of a mile, you collapse. You don't even finish. And you look at it and you say, I just got to sprint longer. I just got to sprint longer. Do you see? You see, it's not you. It's not your motivation. It's not, the ability. It's your plan. Your plan's horse shit. And I don't know how much clear I can make it. And it doesn't matter. By the way, this is why I say all diets are the same. It doesn't matter what the nutritional philosophy is. It doesn't matter. Tell me whatever diet. You can list any diet on the planet. It's always the same thing. Doesn't matter. Weight Watchers, keto, Jenny Craig. It doesn't matter. You're jumping into a what? 100% on day one. Oh, I got to do this. I got to lose weight quick. I got to lose weight quick. If I don't lose weight this week, I'll never have any motivation. I'll just quit, which is what you're doing. Anyways. Barbara says, you are amazing with your information. I've dieted for 40 years and I am having mindset changes since listening to you. That's awesome, Barbara. That's what I'm here for. Literally, you're the exact type of person I'm here for, because that's what I mean. I mean, most of my clients have been dieting for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. Smart, successful, intelligent, compassionate, nice people that deserve better, that are willing to put the work in. They've just never been shown how to put the work in properly. Dieting is not a proper strategy for what you want to accomplish. So I appreciate that, Barbara. Thank you for listening. Lois says, just starting to work on mindset, etc., by listening to you. Wonderful. That's great. Yes, mindset's the foundational piece. Again, I look at it, they're all important. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, they're all important in different ways. And I use this pyramid shape to represent what I believe is the most important relatively pieces, to kind of put them in context with each other. Obviously, eating's important. Okay. You could have your mindset and your lifestyle locked in. If you're eating a bunch of calories every day, it's not going to change your weight. Okay. So we need all three of them working together. But I always make this point that most people, when it comes to their weight loss, never mind the goal weight pyramid, they're doing about that much of it. Right? That to me is a diet. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. There's your meal plan. There's your willpower trying to force you to eat whatever. And you're missing all of this. And you're wondering why you're not getting results after 40 years. And by the way, not only are you not getting results after 40 years, most of you, what's even worse is, if you're really honest with yourself, you don't know anything more about how to lose weight and keep it off now than you did 40 years ago. That's the part that really I want to bother you, because you've got to get on a new path if you want new results. But again, it's not even just the fact that you're not getting the results. It's even deeper than that, you're not even any closer to understanding what to do to get the results. You're just as lost as you were 40 years ago when all you're doing is dieting. Because again, there's no growth, there's no evolution, there's no learning, there's no customization with dieting. It's just this strict, rigid plan that you follow for a little while until you quit. And it's the same for everyone. So again, I mean, the path off it is not just to hope the next time you run the marathon, you're able to sprint it the whole time. The path is to come up with a better strategy. Stop trying to sprint the whole marathon. That's the secret to getting better results. And the beauty is that not only do you get better results with that plan, but it's a lot more of a comfortable process. That's what I like to think with Program Yourself Thin. Not only is it more effective to help you lose weight and stay at your goal weight, but on top of that, you're going to start feeling better almost instantaneously. With Program Yourself Thin, it doesn't start the first day. You're not following some strict meal plan. You're waking up and listening to a 5-minute hypnosis session. And that hypnosis session is going to calm you down. It's going to relax your body. It's going to help you breathe deeper. It's going to help you turn your attention inwards, become more sensitive to what's going on inside your body and mind. And then it's going to put a bunch of good ideas into your mind that support and encourage you and keep you going. Then you're going to wake up out of that 5-minute session and go about your day. And you're going to find yourself naturally making better choices. And that's just going to keep on building on itself. And then you're going to work on your blueprint, so you know exactly what to do for you. You're going to know exactly how to think, live, and eat like a thin, healthy person, a way that works for you, is custom made for you. And then you're going to learn the Program Yourself Thin technique, how to run your own brain so that you do the things that you know you should do. And when you put all this together, again, it's a full-on holistic, systematic approach. And compared to dieting, I mean, it's night and day. So Joan says, so Jim, how do most people hear about you, Jim? Oh boy, it's across the board. I mean, it's everything. It's the podcast, it's my videos, It's the TikToks, it's shorts, it's advertising, referral, yeah, on and on. There's a million ways. Pretty soon it'll be the book coming. Can't wait. Remember, says so true. Yes. Victoria Elizabeth says, hi, I just joined your program and have been listening to your daily emails. Something is clicking. I went to Costco and for the first time, I didn't buy a hot dog. Nice job, Victoria. Great job. Welcome to the program, and keep listening. Okay. Because again, this is just the beginning. So wonderful work. I'm happy for you. And it feels so nice, So again, really enjoy that, Victoria, right? We want to get as much value out of our good decisions as possible. And yes, the weight loss is one of those values, right? It's really fun to make good decisions so that we lose weight. Sure. But it also feels good right now. When you left Costco's and you hadn't bought a hot dog, you felt proud of yourself. You felt happy with yourself. You felt lighter. See, we want to extract as much value as possible out of our good decisions. So that's a great job, Victoria. Super proud of you. Keep up the good work. Uzo says, I'm on antidepressants and they make me really hungry. Is it still possible for me to lose weight? It feels impossible. I snack after dinner so much until I'm sick, basically. Well, Uzo, you're on here somewhat regularly, so I know there's more to the story. I've been doing this a long time too. I know sometimes when people tell me the story, it's not the full story. And so for Uzo, I'm not disputing that antidepressants and medications can absolutely make this process harder because they can trigger your hunger, so that's a real thing. All right. But I also know with Uzo that sometimes your approach to changing your weight is really drastic too. And so I think when you add in, I'm not sure exactly what the problem is. I don't think the antidepressants are helping, but I also, from what I remember about you, Uzo, is that you do a lot of dramatic things like dramatic fasting, dramatic calorie cuts. You do a lot of drastic stuff as well. And so I don't think that's helping either. And so a lot of times we're doing so many things incorrectly, we're not sure what the real problem is, So again, not arguing the antidepressants have an effect, but from what I remember and know about you, a lot of your behavior is causing problems too. And those are self-inflicted wounds. So that's what I would start focusing on, is kind of stabilizing my eating. And if I'm remembering correctly, your eating's not really stable because you're constantly doing dramatic things to try and lose weight that throw you off balance. Yeah, Uzo says, yeah, wow, you remember a lot. Yeah, okay. That's what I mean. I do say, as my clients always tell me this, but I almost have like a photographic memory for coaching. It is very weird. And it's kind of cool. But yes, even on here, and I talk to literally, hundreds of people a week just on here, and I don't even get to know you. But I don't know. It's like, what it reminds me of? In England, they studied taxi drivers' brains. And they studied them before and after they took their taxi driving license, which is extremely difficult in England. England, I guess, is really, really hard to like drive around. There's just a lot of detail, right? And they found literally that part of their brain got bigger, from doing that. So anyways, I think I've been doing coaching for so long that there's some part of my brain that I think's gotten bigger and well developed. So I do remember a lot of stuff. Uzo says, I don't want to diet anymore. Well, I'm glad for you, Uzo, because again, the dieting is like running in place, but it's the illusion that you're moving forward, but it's not. You're not moving forward. Again, that's why I say with Program Yourself Thin, and I'm not saying you have to get Program Yourself Thin. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be crystal clear. This isn't to hype it up. I'm just giving you an idea, though, of what a real, genuine, I think of this as like college for living at your goal weight. Like, I think of Program Yourself Thin. This book here, I think of as it's like a college course, how to live at your goal weight. Look at that thing, right? And so, but the reason why is this, that if like you could have no numerical ability, no mechanical ability, but if you sign up and go to mechanic school or accounting school, if you go to those classes and do the work, you're going to come out the other end an accountant or a mechanic, regardless of what your initial ability was. Now, you may not be the best accountant or best mechanic, but you will be a certified accountant mechanic. And that's what I like to think of Program Yourself Thin, because it's a holistic, comprehensive approach that covers your mindset, lifestyle, and eating. And so, even, part of this whole thing here is it serves as a diagnostic tool. So that when all of a sudden you wake up and you say, I'm not even motivated today. Well, you go to the motivation section. What did you write down? Maybe just reflecting on it motivates you again. Maybe you realize I need to come up with better motivation. Or you say, my habits, I'm struggling with this habit. You go to the habits section, you reflect on it, you learn, you grow. You're always improving. That's what I'm trying to say. Again, weight loss is a process of learning. In dieting tells you has nothing to do with learning. Just do it. You're either going to do it or not. No pain, no gain. Just do it. Well, what when I can't just do it? What about when I get depressed? What about when I get overwhelmed? What about when I make a mistake and eat the whole bag of cookies? What do I do then? Well, dieting isn't any answers for you. And you've got nowhere to go from there. Program Yourself Thin is literally built for that moment when you finish the bag of cookies. What do you do now? Well, you do the redo technique on it. It's the core, the Program Yourself Thin technique is the core technique we use. So you're all set. Oh my God. Because right now, as a dieter, what's interesting too, because you got to think dieting is like an endurance test. And it's like, what ends up happening is the longer you're on your diet doing well. So again, this is why you're screwed with diets one way or the other. Even if you're doing really well with your diet, you're sticking to it perfectly. What happens on a shadow side is you start getting more anxious for when it's going to stop. I do this with basketball. I always say I have a rule for myself when I got the time and I'm playing. I got to make 3 shots at the end, 3 shots in a row. I got to make. Okay. Why do I do that? Because what happens is you'll make the first shot, you'll make the second shot. Now you're up in your head. You're like, oh God, don't miss this. If I miss this, I got to make 3 more again. Right. But you're doing the same thing with your diet. Even if you put a good week together, it's great. You had a good week. I'm happy for you. But tell me this isn't true, that you had a great week, but now you're even more anxious that you're going to mess up. I know you are. It's like you're walking a tightrope, and the longer you're doing well, the thinner that tightrope gets. And the more anxious and worried you get that you're going to screw up. And then the screw up always happens at some point. At some point, you make some kind of mistake. And for most dieters, they have no ability to get back on track after that mistake. With Program Yourself, then the core of the whole program is a technique that helps you get back on track after you make a mistake. Because that's the difference. Dieting says your success is going to come when you don't make any mistakes. Once you're perfect, then you can get to your goal weight. I think that's complete and utter bullshit. I think you're going to make a million mistakes on your way to your goal weight. And I don't think you have a chance in hell of being perfect. Not for long. So to me, it's like I want to assume you're going to make a mistake. It's not a big deal. And then give you a strategy for how to deal with it once it happens. So you can get back on track quickly and learn something. So yeah, Uzo says, my dream is to finally find a boyfriend. I thought that would be the perfect motivation. Wear my dream clothes too. No, it's not. It's not enough of a motivation. By the way, it's like, in a weird way, that's the worst motivation. I know it may not sound like it, but deep down, it's like, you're like, oh, I'm going to lose weight so I can find the perfect boyfriend. But in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm just going to do this to find the perfect boyfriend. And then the back of your mind, you're like, what's going to happen when I find a boyfriend because I've lost a bunch of weight and then I put the weight back on? So I promise you, Uzo, that's not a real clear, congruent goal. And it's the same for most of you. We all do what we want to do. And if you're not doing the right stuff, it's almost because you're not really motivated. Again, both of those goals, Uzo, rely on another person, right? The first goal relies on some other boyfriend finding you and liking you because now you're thinner. And the other one is I wear my dream clothes so other people think I look amazing. Again, I'm not saying that those aren't valuable goals. They serve their purpose, but they're not the strongest goals. They're literally called, just so you know, again, in Program Yourself Thin, this is what we deal with in the motivation section. Because as we're finding out here, most people have never learned how to motivate themselves. As a matter of fact, if you're overweight, you weigh what you want to weigh. So your core issue is to learn how to motivate yourself. But anyways, one of the things you learn in the motivation section is that wanting to lose weight so you find a boyfriend, wanting to lose weight so you look amazing in your clothes and other people think you look great, those are called extrinsic motivators. It's the weakest form of motivation. And where the real motivation comes from is intrinsic motivation. This is the motivation you rely on to finish college, to sign up for college, to go to your job in the morning when you'd rather just lay in bed, to get up out of your bed and take care of your kids, even though you'd rather just sleep in and you're tired. There's a deeper form of motivation, folks, and it's way more powerful. So Bill Maher says, what do I do to lose weight? You reduce your average calorie consumption. Bill Maher says, I started yesterday, Monday. So again, well, okay. So Bill, I'm gonna take you at your word here. You started yesterday. Today's Tuesday, and you asked me, "What do I do to lose weight?" Which begs the question: what is this process you're on? Is this a process where I started yesterday, so now I'm making all the right choices, or did you start yesterday to learn and grow and turn into the thin, healthy person you want to be? And you're going to keep learning and growing each and every day until you make that happen. Those are two totally different paths we're walking. Judy Nail says, "You are incredible." Well, thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. It's nice to hear. But what I would say, Bill, is at least click the link in my bio and go get the free hypnosis session I give you and watch the training I made. That's what I would suggest as a good next step. Tabby Cat says, "There's a saying I have on my fridge about changing the mindset that got me to obesity." Yeah, that's great. Always be focusing on the mindset. Always focusing on the mindset. Bill says, how do I do it? Yes. Again, this is another diet thing where it's like someone else, so how do I do it? But that's like asking me, like, how do I be an accountant? Tell me how to be a carpenter, Jim. Tell me how to be a carpenter. And it's like, you want me to just tell you all the things you need to know to be a carpenter. Right. So it's like, all I can say to you is go to carpentry school, become an apprentice. You know what I mean? Like if you're asking me the next step to take and you truly want to be a carpenter, research carpenter schools, find a carpenter apprentice, talk to them. That's the next step. It's not me saying, don't eat carbs. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that's what dieters want. Dieters just want a tactic. Tell me a tactic I can use. Well, there is no tactic. You want to know how to do it? Change your mindset, lifestyle, and eating in a way that works for you and reduces your weight to your goal weight. So again, you got to invest the time into figuring out what you need to do, to get the results you want. But again, if you go get that hypnosis session, I'll be well on the way. What do I buy or join? You don't have to buy anything. So again, you can get that free hypnosis session, watch that training I made for you. I got a bunch of free shit coming too. I want to deliver it all through the Circle app, and I'm kind of tweaking a few things in there first. I know this is taking me longer than I wanted it to. I got a book coming out. I do have a program too. So obviously you're welcome to join that as well. But again, I make clear the distinction that I'm not here to sell the program. I'm here to help people out on these lives I get on every day. And I'm here every day, Monday through Friday. So there you go, Bill. You can pop on here whenever you want, Monday through Friday, right around noon Eastern. Ask whatever questions you have. How do you do it? You commit to it and you recognize this is just like going to college and it's a long-term thing. And you work on one thing at a time, figure it out. I know that doesn't make sense, but watch the video I made and it'll make more sense. Tabby Cat says, my motivation's better health and to feel less inflammation. Yeah, that's great. Now, again, what I'll say, Tabby Cat, is I would take that motivation deeper by connecting to it, right? So better health and less inflammation are very vague, meaningless terms to most people, right? You don't think in terms like when you're like, I don't know what better health means to you, but I can promise you health is not a great motivator. Like it should be, but it's not. And so what I would do, Tabby Cat, is I would go deeper into it. For example, my motivation is better health and to feel less inflammation so that I can wake up in the morning with more energy. And when I go to the doctors, my blood work looks amazing. And I'm going to be set up to live as long as I possibly can and have the greatest quality of life while I'm alive. And the lack of inflammation is going to allow me to move more comfortably. I'm going to feel better. My joints are going to feel better. My body and metabolism are going to operate more optimally and efficiently. I'm going to have more energy, feel, more balanced in my emotions. I'm going to think more clearly, which is going to allow me to work more effectively, be a better parent, be a better student, blah, 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 blah. So I would go deeper into your goal, Tabby Cat, by making it more real to you. How would you experience better health and less inflammation in your day-to-day life? And when you start to really think about that and step into that reality, you're going to find that you get more motivated. Okay. Barbara says, where do I get the workbook? The workbook is part of the program. So again, I'm not here to tease you. I just show you this because it's just a reference point, but this is something that's part of the program. You get the PDF for free if you want to get the physical version. It's a little extra, but so this is only for people in the program. And again, it wouldn't really matter. I mean, it'd be fun to go through for sure for anyone, just kind of go through it. But again, at this point, I only sell the program. People are truly, truly committed to it. So Anyways, but I do have a book that's going to be coming out soon that will be available to everyone. I can't wait. I think it's really good, and I can't wait for you all to be able to get that. So, all right, everyone, I'm going to get out of here. If you are not in my world, please click the link in my bio or go to programyourselfthin.com. Go get the free hypnosis session I give you. Watch the training I made for you. It's all there for free, and you can check it out. Bill, yes, how much? Go check out. I don't just say it because at this point I don't even really encourage just selling it to people. I would rather you watch the 20-minute training, see if it's anything that even resonates with you. Okay. Because to be completely honest, Program Yourself Thin is not for most people. And I'll be the first to admit that. It's for a very specific type of person. And I think the best thing you can do is watch the training I put together. So sign in for the hypnosis session. It takes a couple of minutes to send that to you. I'll send it to your email. And as soon as you opt in, though, I'll bring you right to a page where you can watch a training. And it's like about 20 minutes, but it'll talk about the 3 steps to master your weight. I think watching that to me is a litmus test, because if you can't get through the training, you're not going to like the program. And if you watch the training, you don't like what I'm saying, you're obviously not going to like the program. So I would much rather you watch that training and dedicate that time. And then if the program's the right fit, you'll know it and there's steps forward. But I would suggest that that's a better path forward than just getting it. So yeah, get on my email list though, everyone. Again, it's free. And I just have more and more free stuff to come down the pike, and no one gives you more free stuff than I do. All right. And then if you like this, I'm here every Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern. And feel free to get on here, ask questions. Let me help you out. This is my mission in life. So I'm happy to help you out with whatever weight loss questions you have. And if you like listening to this and you missed the live, you can listen to it as a podcast. I upload this every day. The podcast is called Program Yourself Thin, and you can go to any podcast platform, search Program Yourself Thin, it'll pop up, and you can listen to this whenever you like. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a super day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.